Thank you for being here with Relationship Nation. My name is Freddie Martin.
And I'm Wayne Martin.
And today we're going to be talking about the four brain, which we talked about in the earlier videos about I people and we people. And today we're going to talk about how they interact with each other and where conflicts can arise and where they can actually be effective with each other.
So we spoke about in the first video the I logicals and the I spontaneous. In the second video, we talked about the we logicals and the we spontaneous. And what we want to do is summarize. Basically, we're going to give you an example about the Disney organization, just so you can kind of get your head around how this all comes together. And then we're going to talk about it in how it affects personal relationships. If you're dating somebody or you're already in a relationship and you're trying to figure out why we're having conflict or what is our superpower or what is our strength. And we're going to go over that right now.
Okay, so if you think about the Disney organization, start out with Walt Disney. So he is the I spontaneous person. He is experimental. He has ideas, all this stuff. Okay, we will do these cartoons. We'll do this, and then pretty soon we're doing a Disneyland theme park, and then we're doing movies and all these kind of things. And so for an I spontaneous person, that's our superpower. They can create from nothing. And so you take this, and then you think of Roy Disney, who's his brother, and he is the I logical. So he's going to look at that and go, okay, great idea, but where's the money coming from?
Where's the money coming from, and how's it going to make sense financially, legally, all these different forms?
Yeah. What are you going to do about that? Okay, so you have Walt driving Roy crazy because Roy's screwing around trying to find the money, trying to get everything done, trying to draw contracts and everything. And then Roy goes down to the we logical people, and that's the administrators. Those are the people, those are the bookkeepers. Those are the people that actually execute. So you're taking Walt's ideas, Roy's analytical part, how we're going to do this, we need to draw the contracts, blah, blah, blah. Then you send them down to the we logical people, and they're going to make sure that contracts are drawn properly, that they get executed properly, that they have all the stuff in place to be actually on the earth in now time, that this Walt Disney's idea can be created on the planet.
So, but we're not going to leave out the we spontaneous people, because they're the people working the park. They're the entertainers. They're the people that are doing all the artistic production. They're really bringing it together and working with the we logical people, so it all creates this cohesive type of program or entertainment, Disneyland. It all comes together. You need all those different elements working together harmoniously. So you go, well, that's great, Wayne and Freddie. That's about business. Well, you're all in business, so that's part of it. But now let's talk about how that works in personal relationship. By knowing these different types of personalities, how they take information, how they speak, and how they present themselves to the world and how they interact with other people, you're going to be in a relationship. Like for Freddie and I, we're diametrically opposed. I'm an I spontaneous and she's a we logical, but where we meet is in we spontaneous. But we also need that I logical that's a subcontractor to us to help us through legal and accounting and all this other stuff. But in the beginning, I would really irritate Freddie, because people would ask about how things are going, and I would be thinking they're talking to me directly. So it would be like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, all these things. And how did you feel about that, Freddie?
It irritated me terribly, because for me, I'm looking at like, well, I was there too. It's like, we did that, and this is our car, our house, our family. We did that together. And he would be talking about how he did this, my kids, my this, my house, my car. And it just irritated me terribly. And where we were lucky is that we got together with the lady who trained us about this, and she said, this can be a potential bad thing for your relationship, because you're gonna feel left out, Freddie, because he's an I form. He's going to be using the word I all the time. And then Wayne's going to feel like he's upsetting me and I'm rolling my eyes and I'm mad all the time because it's all about him. So that was very important that we knew that. And what's happened with that is that it's become a strength for us because I appreciate the fact that he's a creator and he comes up with all this great information and things, way to do things. And he appreciates me because I have the ability to organize it and make it actually happen here. So let's talk about, we know another couple and they have a very successful business and relationship. They've been married a long time. They have 2 kids that are all grown up.
They love each other.
Love each other to pieces.
But they're very different.
Very different. He is an
It's logical.
So in their business, he is analyzing everything, the books, the money. They have a business that's a very, can be litigious business. So he's looking about how are we not going to get sued, all that kind of stuff. And she's out there because they have a large organization. They have 7,000 people in their organization. And she's out there hugging, shaking hands, making it happen, putting together the thinking up ways to organization parties, make it fun for people. And so she's out there doing that. And when we go to events with them, he's kind of standing in the corner. I'll go over and stand with him because I feel sorry for him. Because he's all by himself and nobody's talking to him. Because I understand that he is an illogical. So we go over and I ask him what's up, what's going on, and then I just listen to him telling me all about his logical stuff. And she's out there working the room, making sure that everybody's comfortable, feels welcome.
I love that because I like to work the room.
He works the room.
Just like her. And it's an important thing for me to be able to go out, see all my friends, make new friends, and get just kind of more of a surface, how you doing, what's going on, and all that. But yet, sometimes I felt like, oh, I wish Freddie was with me. I feel all alone sometimes. I feel lonely, and it's doing all this stuff. And it's kind of funny because you like to be over in the corner having conversations, having people come to you, and
it's uncomfortable for me to be in large groups of people because it's got to be that logical part of it. It puts me on overwhelm. There's too much going on. So for me, when we go to a big event, Wayne's there working the room. I'm sitting in the corner finding about the depths of somebody's soul because we're talking about all this stuff that really has meaning in life and all that. Or else I'll just be in a small group of people. I don't mind meeting new people. I love their stories. I love to hear people's stories and find out about them personally, but I don't like surface conversations. And so that's an interesting dynamic. For us, it's a superpower because I know he's going to make sure everybody feels welcome. He's going to talk to everybody in the room, and then I don't have that pressure. I can sit there and have more of a relaxed conversation with one person or a small group of people. So that's important in relationships. You have to understand these different dynamics of people, because if you don't understand that, if you are the person that's out there working the room and you're just going, well, what the heck?
It creates some...
it creates problems. She's over there. I'm working the room. She's over there just talking to a couple people, and I have the burden of doing all this.
Well, and it's great. Say, for instance, you're just a couple, and you're getting together. You're going to get married. You believe that you're really compatible, but there's these different things that keep coming up and creating conflict. And that may be because you're not recognizing that person's different. I see a lot of people go, I don't understand my spouse or my girlfriend or my boyfriend. We got along so well, the first year, and now we're together and I just don't understand them and they just irritate the heck out of me. Well, that's because you're not really seeing, and a lot of times, that their personality, the way that they process, the way that they show up in the world is so different than you, but you want them to be like you, and that is very unrealistic. And that is not going to be their nature. They're not going to change.
You can't do that.
Doesn't mean that you can't talk about it and come up with different ways to deal with it that work for both of you. That's very, very important in a long-term loving relationship.
Absolutely.
Respect is always the key, and also creating a way to develop trust and safety is very important. and understanding the needs of that other person, whether they're a we form or an I form, or whether they're spontaneous or logical, is critical. Also, when you get into blended families, we had a blended family, it's important to look at each child, each person, and go, how are we interacting? How can we support them? How can we have more empathy, compassion? How do we connect better? Because we're speaking their language, we're stepping into their world, and that will become very, very important.
Yeah, it keeps you from judging, because you just look at, oh, okay, well, they're an I spontaneous, or they're an I logical person. So as a we person, I just know they're going to talk about I, and it's going to be logical stuff, and that's okay. And that's why it's so important. And it's also really important to understand that we, if you're highly functioning and you understand communication, that you're probably going to be able, to be in like 3 of these quadrants. Like, I can be very logical. I can also be extremely spontaneous. I'm more of the we. I pretty much stay in the we. The I, it's uncomfortable for me to go into the I part of it. But definitely I can be practical, logical, and spontaneous in group from the we's perspective. Wayne does better than I do even. Like, he's definitely up in the I spontaneous, but he goes right into the we spontaneous, and he can go right over to the we logical. We can sit down, and sometimes he's even better at planning than I am.
I think the thing that happens is you're going to have a main modality. My main modality is going to be on the spontaneous side. Generally, I'm going to lead with it as an I form. I'll morph into the we. But I can move over into the we logical,
yes, you can.
But the reality is I can't sustain it. It is not comfortable for me. I can take meetings, I can do the work, I can map out a lot of these parts, but I can't sustain living in that environment, basically. And so you'll see that in relationships. But as you recognize this, you'll be able to take a breath, understand that other person, and start building a fantastic long-term relationship if you respect it and honor it. So I hope this helps. Can't wait to talk to you about our next subjects. So see you soon.